everybody, welcome back to another episode. Today I am making Vietnamese bread.
This one's heavy.
This is going to be so soft on the inside and so crunchy and crispy on the outside.
Squish.
Kids love it, adults love it, I love it. I hope you like it. So first of all, I'm gonna start my oven set to proof. In the meantime, I am measuring out about 600 grams of bread flour and about 5 grams of salt. That's about half a teaspoon. You can add more salt if you want. I'm using quick rise instant yeast. And make sure it's not outdated. If you use this yeast, you can't finish it within 6 months or so. Put it in the fridge, and within 6 months, you might want to discard it because it might not be as good. So I measured out about 4 grams. I've used more 5 grams, 6 grams before, and it was too sour for me. Too sour, it becomes like sourdough. I didn't like that, so I cut down to 4 grams. You can test it out with a little extra yeast. So I'm making a little well here and add me about 20 grams of vinegar, just white vinegar. And cover that up. Add me about 40 to 45 grams of butter. You can add more if you like. Just adjust your water. For the water, I'm just using tap water. I measured out about 340 grams. That's about 1.5 cups, but I usually do not pour it all in just yet. I just like to adjust it a little bit and see how much I want. So I give it a quick stir around and slowly add the water in. It's probably take about a couple of minutes to give it some time to stir it up. Otherwise the flour might just fly everywhere. Alright, I still got a little bit left. Just a little bit. Because it looks pretty wet right now. It's pretty soft and it's not hard because right now it's a little dry, it doesn't stick to the hook yet, but as you let the dough rest, it's expand and it's you know, smooth up and it's gonna be soft, and then it's gonna be elastic a little bit more. So we're gonna add a little bit more oil later. So I think if I want to add a little bit more water later, I'll add some more water, but right now I'm just gonna hold off. I'm gonna let it knead until maybe like 2-3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and let it rest. And number 4. Where's my little finger? Right there. 4. For 5 minutes. So it's been 5 minutes. Go ahead and stop that. The dough is soft, but just work. I just want to work. You know, knead it just like you knead. You stretch the dough. You stretch the dough so that to give the gluten time to work itself. So right now it's pretty rough. You know, it's soft but it's not really smooth. You can see it's super easy to tear and crunchy. So let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna go and cook me a hot pot of water for the oven when I'm gonna rise it. been 5 minutes. As you can see, the dough is much softer. As you can see, I put oil in there, so it's a little bit stickier now. It's not too sticky. It's a little on the drier side, but as you can see, it's stretched. It can stretch a little bit better than earlier. It's pretty good, but it's still tear right here. I'm gonna go with number 6. I want to see like really smooth. This is still a little rough here, looking rough right here. So I want to see really smooth. Let's go with number 6 for 3 minutes. You can see the dough is much smoother. So how long will you need to knead it for? It's depends on what your dough looks like. So the ingredients are kind of like the basic, and the time is a basic, but what you need to know is you need to be able to look at this and see how smooth this is. Trust me, I've been following the direction and to the T, and it does not work. You just have to learn some tips and trick, you know, that goes with it, and it depends on different area. So put this baby back here. Now the dough is super soft and silky now. You can see it's a little dry because I don't want to stick on my hand too bad when I work trying to shape the bread. But it's stretchy, super stretchy now. See, it's so smooth. It doesn't break. Of course, eventually it will break if I continue to tear, but you can tell the elasticity of the gluten has done its magic. So let's ball it up and let it rise for some time, maybe 30 to 45 minutes, depends. It depends on summer or winter at the time in the oven, but generally, around less than an hour, you should be able to have the dough double its size. I mean, I've been hearing double its size, but I never really measure. So it kind of dry, so I don't really need to put oil in here, but go ahead and oil the bowl so that when the dough rises, it doesn't stick to the bowl as bad. It's easier for me to take it off. So I'm gonna make it into a smooth surface. Ball it up. Just let it have this nice there. Flop it over, trying to get the oil and get that smooth surface on the top. There you go. And cover this. Earlier I was making some hot water here, so I'm gonna pour that in there. The heat just gonna help with create that moisture and the hot warm air in here for it to rise a little quicker. So about 30 to 45 minutes, I'm gonna come out and shape it. It's been proofing in there for like an hour. About an hour later, I'm going to remove all the air pockets inside here, kind of pull them out, and give it a few kneads around to make sure they're kind of even, very soft. Pull it out and knead a few times to get into like a ball size so that it's easier for me to divide them up. Very springy. Now just roll it out and portion them up to whatever size you want. Bigger bread, smaller bread. I think I did like 8 portions. I'm not scientist doing job here. I'm just kind of measure and eyeball them and just kind of tuck them back, just like how you make them into a ball. My son was like having a blast every time I was doing this. He does a lot with the helping out. But you just fold it in there and then you roll it to seal the bottom and cover it up with the plastic. I add a little bit of oil to the side, the inside, the bottom side of it so that it won't stick. But I'll do that. Cover it up, let it sit there while I'm rolling them out. Those are the 8 balls of those. And then I'll go ahead and work with the one that I finished first. So just kind of flatten this out. So I like a flat, kind of long bread, not a lot of belly, kind of guess the inside part. I like a thin bread, I guess, because that's too much bread inside. If I'm gonna stuff some stuff inside, is way too much. So I like to make my bread a little longer and skinny. And just roll them out. Add a little oil to your rolling stick and roll them out thin. You're doing this at home, you do whatever shape you want, honestly. You can make the belly fatter by kind of fold it into a triangle and make the center poof up. And you can roll and push it forward and down. And at the end, trying to thin it out a little bit more so it's easier to stick to the end, like seal it up. At the end, just seal it up and roll it around a few times to make the end seal and set it aside. The beauty of making stuff at home is that you're not going to sell it to anybody and you're going to eat whatever you make, whatever shape you, you created. So right here at the end, I'm trying to make it really thin so that it's kind of bind with it's easier to glue onto the bread at the end of it. And I just roll it in. I mean, you can roll and you push, to have a bigger belly. I don't want bigger belly. I want it's too much bread in the middle. So I'm gonna stuff this with my pork that I just baked last night, and so I don't want it too fat. You know, I just want just a flat piece of bread, or a loaf, or bread, or hoagie style, and I don't care to have a big. I've done the big poofing up, kind of oval looking. That was way too much. The soft bread inside, called the belly, and you know the kids like those. But this is gonna be making it with the I'm putting these back into the oven and with the hot water to help the bread rise with some moisture out of my oven doesn't have an automatic moisture. After about 45 minutes to an hour, they're poof up pretty nicely. I'm gonna take this out. Set it aside and start my oven at 500 degrees Fahrenheit. While that is going, it's gonna take a few minutes for it to rise up to 500. So I don't want these to dry out, so I sprayed a little water around it just to keep it moist for a few minutes. And a few minutes later, when I'm ready, I'm just using this simple razor here. Nothing fancy, just go a quick cut, just go fast. You can experience it yourself, different way, different direction, however you like. I don't really make this way too complicated. So I just spray a little extra water where I cut it, and then just stick that into the oven. Gotta be quick, quick, quick. Oh, add some new hot water in here. This hot water, it just kind of help with the moisture. So you can experience with or without. I think I've experienced with or without. It doesn't really matter. It does help, keep the bread crispy, in my opinion. But sometimes I just stick them in there. I set it for 15 minutes at 500. Say like 5 minutes in, I sprayed it and then I turn it around because my oven is not really even. So pay attention to your oven and don't go away. Just make sure you're on the standby. Just don't go to the park or the playground or anything like that, and your bread might be cooked on just one side. Oh, spray on this side too. Going back another 5 minutes in, I'm gonna go down to about 450 and spray it some more. At this point, I'll just turn it around and then spray some more because the bottom didn't get a chance to brown up. I like, at the golden brown stage, so pay attention. The light in there does kind of trick your eyes a little bit, so make sure it's not to the point where it's already way too brown because the light is yellow. So it's a little bit brown, a little golden around it. Make sure you turn it to give it extra time to continue to brown, otherwise it might be a little bit too brown when you open the door. So there we go. The last 5 minutes is done. And just leave the light, leave it on for a few more minutes. Turn off everything. And about 5 minutes or so later, everything else look kind of even. Now I can take it off. If yours are already brown and even, nice and sweet, take them out. Mine was not, so I just let it sit in there for a few more minutes just to make sure everything is brown. I mean, everything is like even. Golden brown. That is it right there. I hope it's super simple. Well, maybe not super simple, but it's, to me, I mean, it's how you judge the amount of water and the elasticity of the dough and all this. It's just very natural and fun. I tell you, it's really fun to make homemade bread. It smells wonderful in here. I bet you, if you do it, you'll love it. You hear the crackling of the bread, the smell of it. At the end, you can even brush a little bit of butter on the outside.
Smells hot.
You just addicted to listening to this cracking sound. And the inside is super soft and springy. My son would go through and he would pull out the center and leave me all the crust on the outside. Just like how I would do it when I was little.
It's so tough.
I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and subscribe for future Vietnamese, Asian home cook, gardening, and more. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.